to the Nest Podcast, your home for nerd entertainment and sports talk, where your hosts, Brandon and Zach, hash out what's happening in video games and sports every week. Enjoy the show!
Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Nest Podcast. This is episode number 59, the Jack Ham episode, presented by Sportszilla. I'm your host, Brandon, and joining me are my co-hosts, Zach and Justin. What's up, fellas?
Yo.
What's up?
What is going on? Obviously the weekend just happened. It's Monday. A lot of football just took place. Guys, what were you watching? Justin, what were you watching this weekend?
Well, I saw my Falcons lose again. We lost Keanu Neal, which is our best safety. And Jarrett was on the bench with a toe injury, which I hope's not bad. So I saw our defense basically crumble. We still had a chance to win the game, but we're 1-2.
So what was up with Ridley? I've got him on my fantasy team, and he didn't do jack shit. Was he just contained the entire game, or did he get hurt?
Man, the offense didn't do nothing until like the second half. They made like a big push, but Julio Jones went ape shit. He had a couple touchdowns, I don't know how many yards. So Julio, baby, streak number 7. Ever since you called him out.
Yep, ever since I said that he ain't shit, he's been like, all right, I'm going to prove that motherfucker wrong.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to have to say the same thing about Ridley. Like, he didn't do shit.
I think they finally didn't double team Julio.
And he went the fuck off.
Yeah, like literally he threw the ball up in the end zone and Julio was guarded by the safety and the corner, and Julio just went up and grabbed it. Like he couldn't be guarded in that game. Julio and Hooper went off too, the tight end.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Matt Ryan. You never know. He gets the ball to whoever. He don't have like a favorite target. And there'll be games like that where like last game really went off. There'll be games. Basically, he just takes what's there, and when Julio's there, I mean, you got to go for Julio over Ridley all day.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. If you're running an offense, that's the guy that you want to get going on your offense. So it makes sense. It's the same in New England, where Tom Brady dishes the ball out to different guys each week. You never know who's going to be the emphasis on offense.
Uh-huh.
What we do know is that it won't be James Devlin, who just landed on the IR. That's a big blow to the Pats. I said a few weeks ago that he was kind of filling Gronk's role with a lot of blocks.
Yeah,
hitting a lot of those blocks that Gronk was picking up last year. So now someone else is going to have to step up and fill his shoes. So that's a big blow to the Patriots offense. I expect them to not be as efficient as they've been for the first 3 weeks coming up.
It won't be AB either.
Well, I mean, he was only there for 1 week, and he came in, caught a touchdown, and left. It's the same thing that Make-A-Wish kids get.
Yeah. I guess Bill Belichick felt sorry for him and just gave him, hey, you can catch a touchdown from Tom Brady. We'll make that happen for you.
And what's brilliant about it all is it only cost the Patriots about $15,000.
Yeah, I know. That's what's crazy. He don't have to pay him all that money. That's crazy.
That's a pretty good gamble.
Yeah.
They knew if the thing is if he would have been on the roster today, Monday morning, that $10 million would have been fully guaranteed and he would have been locked in.
Mm-hmm.
So they were smart to do it when they did it. They got a game check out of the way. They got that big $10 million lock. So they took it. It would have hurt, but they took a gamble. They saw that it was not going to pay off. They picked him up whenever he was just trying to get released from Oakland.
Right.
You think him farting in that doctor's face was like the final straw?
Well, I saw something that came out that said that the doctor was kind of in on it, like making a viral moment or whatever.
I saw that too. I saw something. It was like an audio clip or something about the doctor kind of making light of it afterwards. But I guess that's all hearsay. I think the big thing that made the Patriots ownership decide on cutting him was the text messages between AB and the accusers. Apparently, he was threatening them somehow via text.
What an idiot! He rubbed Mr. Kraft the wrong way.
Something.
Oh, I see that. Justin's trying to make a little joke there.
I get it. Yeah, that took me a second. That's a good.
I had to, man.
That's funny.
You know, Justin, when we go high, he goes low.
Right. Yeah.
He goes straight to the gutter.
Next is going to be a sperm bank update.
That's why we bring him around.
That was my link in between the two.
But yeah, like, I mean, the whole AB thing it would have been great for the Patriots if it would have worked out, but since it's not, I think they're just fine.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was saying before AB joined the Patriots that the Pats were the team to beat in the AFC. It's not like they needed Antonio Brown to be the best team. They were already the odds-on favorites. Their percentage went up when AB joined the Pats. That's when people started talking, oh shit, they might go undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now without AB, the talks are back down to, oh shit, they're going to go, 13-3, 14-2 maybe. Right. And they're still going to host the AFC Championship game. And they're probably still going to win the Super Bowl. Fuck. That's what it's going to be, fellas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless something crazy happens.
Unless something crazy happens, because obviously Stidham is not ready to step in and fill Tom Brady's shoes. The game on Sunday, the Pats-Jets was the final score was 30-14. It was a blowout for the majority of the game. The Jets scored 14 points, but not on the Patriots defense. Their defense to date has only given up 6 points. They haven't given up a touchdown all season. The two touchdowns they scored was on a muffed kick, fumble, and then it was returned, and then a pick six when Jared Stidham came in to replace Tom Brady, threw a pick six, and then on the next drive was replaced by Tom Brady. So he's not ready for the prime time yet.
Yeah, that's funny.
No. I want to talk a little bit about the Cowboys when you get off this because...
Yeah, no, let's go ahead. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
You know, all my family is Cowboys fans. And dude, everybody's over the moon that this is Cowboys year. Can I please talk about they played the Buccaneers, that's preseason. They played the Giants, the Deadskins, and the Dolphins. I mean, should you really be that over the moon that you're 3-0 when you played literally three of the worst teams in the NFL?
That's how Cowboys fans are. They get so excited for any little thing.
I mean, I just don't get it. I don't see. I would be happy too if my team was 3-0, but if they beat three bum teams, I don't know that I could be rubbing it in everybody's face, being over the moon and making videos. And I mean, it's just crazy. They beat the Dolphins, for God's sakes, dude. Alabama could beat the Dolphins right now.
Oh, easy.
I mean, to kind of give the Cowboys a little bit of credit, one of the teams that the Patriots have beaten is the Dolphins. Another team is the Jets. So they haven't necessarily been beating world beaters either. But I do think the Cowboy team is pretty legit.
I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs this year. They'll definitely win their division, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender.
I don't necessarily think that they're there yet. I don't think that they have enough to overtake a Saints team if Drew Brees is able to come back and make it to the playoffs, which Teddy Bridgewater, all indicators seem to suggest that he can handle it. So we'll see what happens in New Orleans. This might be a Drew Bledsoe type situation.
It could be.
But we'll see what happens with them. And, you know, the Rams. The Rams are still the favorite in the NFC. They have to be.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of the Rams, that was one of the games that I caught last night, and I had high hopes for the Browns. I thought it would be a tough game, but I think they at least showed me that even with all of their pieces now, they still have a lot of work to do, especially Baker. I don't know if you guys saw that game at all or not, but right before the end of the first half, they had like a 2-minute drill going where they had, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. And they had the ball at, I don't know, the 30 or so. My numbers are terrible, but it was definitely within scoring distance. And they had all their timeouts. And Baker just shit the bed. Like his first drive, his first play, threw it away. And I don't know if that's because he didn't have enough pass blocking or what, but they just couldn't get it together, so they had to settle for a field goal. And I mean, if you can't score in a quick amount of time that close to the end zone, you've got problems. Like I said, I don't know if it's Baker just not knowing what to do or if he can't get the pass blocking that he needs, but they are not the team that we all thought they were. They have some serious problems.
I remember that drive that you're talking about when they got a turnover and they started on like the 20 or something like that, and they couldn't punch it in, they couldn't close. That does speak a lot to the inexperience. I think he tried to force passes to guys that weren't open, and hopefully as he matures, he'll learn those kind of things. But you're right. They did not look very good. I don't know if it is an offensive line problem, but the defense does not look that great, aside from Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've built around this offense, so that's one of the problems. And another thing, I think one of y'all mentioned it last year. Now that he's a sophomore or sophomore second year, I don't guess you call it sophomore in pros. People have had film time to study him, so he can't pull off all that razzle dazzle, all that back leg throw, and all the stuff he did his first year. He can't do that now. It's already been figured out. They know exactly what he's going to do. And he's never, like in college, you can prepare, but it's not like the NFL. This is a job, and that's what their job is to figure Mayfield out. And it seems almost like the NFL has figured him out already.
It makes you wonder if the same thing will happen to guys like a Gardner Minshew, who came in and he's been electric for the past few weeks. Can he sustain that? Or guys like Daniel Jones, who came in, and I'm going to say I don't think the Giants win that game if Saquon Barkley doesn't get hurt.
That's an interesting thought.
Here's why. Going into this game, they knew that Daniel Jones was going to be the starting quarterback. They probably game planned for a pretty heavy Saquon Barkley workload. So the defense is prepared for Saquon Barkley, and you've got a quarterback you've never really seen before.
Yep.
Barkley goes down, and it falls on who to lead the team to win the game?
Yeah.
The quarterback that you've never seen, who all of a sudden has a lot more plays and a lot more responsibility. If Saquon doesn't get hurt, Giants don't win the game.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I think like you said, their game plan to a defense was pretty easy to stop. I mean, obviously Saquon is not a easy player to stop in and of himself, but that kind of game plan is, feed your running back. That doesn't take a genius to figure out defensively. But like you said, a quarterback that comes out of fucking nowhere that you've never seen before, and I think he handled it very well. I didn't expect much from him, honestly. I thought it was way too early for the Giants to bring him in. I thought he needed to learn a little bit more. But he did just fine. I mean, you can't ask much more from a young kid against the NFL, no matter what team. These are all professional players. So that was I'd say that was a good showing.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was. And, I kind of came in sounding a little negative on him and all that stuff. But if you remember, I said that he was going to be good.
Yeah.
When he was picked 6th over Haskins and over all the other quarterbacks, I said it was a good pick because Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. And he's proving that he can handle at least pressure for one night. And it seems like the team is fired up around him. They rallied around him in the huddles. On the final drive, he took over completely, and it made it kind of an impressive stat. He now has obviously a come from behind victory where he was down from 18 or more points. So he's 1-0 in those games. Eli Manning for his career was 0 for 44.
Wow. Jeez. That's something.
So what is this leading into Eli? What does this say about this guy?
Right.
Hall of Famer?
I wouldn't go that far. Not yet. Too early.
I think he'll make. Well, you're talking about Daniel Jones being a Hall of Famer?
No, Eli.
Eli. That's what I thought. I think he'll eventually make it.
Not first ballot. Yeah.
No, definitely not first ballot. Maybe third or fourth. Because I mean, he was good. He definitely was. But I don't think he's been very good for at least the last 5 years. So
He definitely has had ups and downs in his career, but his career numbers are comparable to like an Aaron Rodgers type numbers. He actually has about 20,000 more passing yards than Rodgers, but that's because he has a few more seasons under his belt. I think he'll make it. He has 2 Super Bowl trophies.
yeah, that helps.
That's a big booster when it comes to that kind of thing. So
And Super Bowl MVPs.
right.
So
I think he was MVP in both Super Bowls.
yes.
Probably countless Pro Bowls. So,
yeah,
I think he definitely gets it. You're right. I don't think he's a first ballot guy, but he'll be in there.
yeah. If they're feeling generous, second ballot, I would be content with third ballot. I think that's about where he fits.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Can I tell you this, that in my big money fantasy football league where we play $100 a person, my first pick was Saquon Barkley. My second pick was Antonio Brown.
Ooh.
I'm still 2-1 though somehow, but I have a feeling that's going to drop significantly.
Yeah, you got to replace Saquon now.
Yeah, Mike Evans helped me a lot with his huge game. I think that's why I won this last week, but I can't count on 3 touchdown, 100-some yard game. You know, that guy that I played in our league, you know, I was getting ready to be 3-0. I was stomping him out. I was like, I'm 3-0. He got 90 points between Russell Wilson and Mike Evans.
Yeah, you text me and said that, and I was like, holy shit.
He had 187 fantasy points this week.
You're
Yeah,
the Birds, right, Justin?
Huh?
You're the Dirty Birds, right?
Yeah.
You played Adam.
Yeah, I can't even be mad at that, dude. Like, how can you be mad at that? I couldn't have beat that. I mean, I was killing him. And I literally went to basketball tournament at 4:00. After the basketball tournament, I came home and looked, and he already had 180. He went from like 40 to 180 from a basketball tournament. I was like, what happened?
Yep.
Yeah, I gave it the old double take whenever you looked at your phone. Like, what, did I really see that?
I can't even hate on it, man. I'm happy for him. Like I said,
Another cat in our league. In fact, it's the guy that won the league last year. He had another big week. He's posted like, I think all 3 weeks he's been the first place in points or like in the top 2 or 3.
Damn.
He's always putting up big points. Mother Dix is his name.
Nice.
that's a good name.
You mentioned Mike Evans, and I think that's a dude who could really take off in the NFL if he can get on a team or get a good quarterback somehow.
Yeah, it's not often that he's going to have those 3 touchdown games, in part because of who his quarterback is.
Yeah. He's on a relatively shit team. And at least from college and his early days, he's a fucking stud.
Oh yeah, he was a monster at A&M with Manziel throwing him the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a monster 2 years ago whenever Winston first came in the league too. You know, and everybody thought Winston was going to be the man. But you know, that last game, I watched the highlights, and Winston finally just started throwing it up to him. I mean, Mike Evans made his plays. It wasn't like he was wide open down the field. He finally just started throwing him the ball.
and he went out and got it. That's what you do to your number one.
Right.
Yep.
That's what the Falcons are finally doing to Julio. Throw him the damn ball when it matters most.
Yep.
Go up and get it.
And any defense in the league can survive a little 17-yard pass play to Julio down the sidelines if you're not going to let him catch the ball in the red zone.
Yeah.
But if you let him catch the ball, to where he can get a touchdown, you're fucked because he's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean the dude runs a 4.340 and can jump out the gym.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I'm glad that the Falcons finally started taking my advice.
I told y'all, did I know? I said, I'll take him if he ain't been taken round one. And you were like, oh, he can't even score. He can't put in the end zone. I was like, man, that's just a bad year. I tried explaining to you all year that it was just a bad year, but you wasn't listening.
Mm-mm. Nope. It's not a bad year when it burns you in consecutive years, multiple years in a row.
He's bad. You got to see him before, though. I mean, before that, dude, he was catching, 10 to 15 a year, which still ain't great. I know it ain't like the numbers you're looking for. You're wanting like 40 a year on your fantasy team, but
Exactly. So he's not up to snuff.
yeah.
You think his big contract made the coaching staff kind of look at him a little bit more like, all right, we paid this dude, we better use him?
And they better. Did they finally finish the contract?
I haven't been keeping up with it, but last I saw, he's got some impressive looking money numbers money wise.
Yeah, I think they're still kind of working on that big contract. They might have just like made him happy this year till they can get more money in the bank, but he's going to be set to he'll be the number one paid receiver by the end of the year.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know where they are in that. I haven't been keeping up with his contract. Like Zach, I thought I saw something that he did sign.
He might have. Like I said, I hadn't watched, but you want to sign a guy like that. He never complained. He never missed practice.
I agree.
He was always on the field. He did everything the right way. He did it like OBJ did, or not OBJ, but who did it last year like that? It was OBJ, wasn't it?
OBJ got straight up traded.
Yeah, he got traded, but somebody did the same thing last year, and then they got a high payday because they didn't, start crying or run their mouth or hold out or not.
Was it Hopkins? Was it D-Hop?
It might have been. I just remember them getting a huge payday, but they did it the right way. And then you got Antonio Brown and these guys holding out, crying, complaining about helmets.
Now AB's not even in the league.
Right.
You think he's really going to go to the XFL?
No, XFL says they don't want him.
Really?
Oh, that's funny.
Specifically, do you know?
Vince McMahon in a press conference or whatever said that he's not going to be an XFL player.
So they're really trying to make that style of football like we were talking about way back.
Yeah, they want it to be a good, wholesome league where everybody's a good old boy and doesn't have any extra baggage and all that stuff.
I remember we were talking about that long ago. I think when the XFL was announced that Vince McMahon wants to make this like family friendly style league. Mm-hmm. I guess that obviously doesn't fit with Antonio Brown. But if I were Antonio, I'd be like, sign me, please, because that's where he needs to fucking be.
The WWE changed from whenever we watched it as teenagers to what it is now. Now it's geared and marketed to be entertainment for children, really. Yeah. For kids.
It's got to be clean and everything.
It's got to be PG. Everything on their programming is PG. The XFL is going to be the same way. It's going to be marketed and geared for a younger crowd to be clean and wholesome and all that stuff. They're trying to get the white America crowds, the church going Bible belts. That's who he's going for.
That's funny. Before we get too off topic, Julio Jones signed a contract extension for 3 years, $66 million, 64 guaranteed.
That's 64 guaranteed.
Yep.
I bet he's like, yeah, fuck off that $2 million.
So yeah, I think he's happy.
Yeah, he got paid. He's the highest now by far.
Yeah. Yeah, that trumped Michael Thomas's contract earlier in the season.
Only
for off season.
Years.
He's making $22 million a year, bro.
So I think this is just speculation, but I think that is either told to the coaching staff by the ownership saying, "Hey, we paid this guy, make him earn his money," or it just so happens to be the case. But I genuinely think that when you give a guy a big old contract, it kind of plays into the idea of, all right, we got to utilize this guy. We can't just pay him to do nothing, you know?
Yeah.
You realize that he's making like $1.5 million a game?
Justin's just sitting here doing the math in his head. It's blowing his mind right now.
That means that every time he plays a game, whether they win or lose, he goes to the locker room and gets handed a check for $1.5 million.
And that's not counting any of his other endorsements and sponsorships or anything like that. Because he's got to deal with like what, Nike or Reebok to make his cleats. He's got to deal with so and so to wear their pads.
Yeah, you would think
Christ.
so.
These guys are making money on the side on top of their contracts. Don't get it twisted.
That might be better than Mike Trout, even though I know Mike Trout's was way bigger. But if you take the 16 games versus what, like hundreds of games,
162 in a season, yeah.
That might top Mike Trout's.
And Trout has a 10-year deal. Julio is 3 years, and he could be out of there if he wants to.
Yeah, but Mike Trout makes more than Julio in 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he makes $40 million a year.
That's crazy, dude.
Because he signed 10-year, $400 million.
Yep.
Yeah, but he still ain't getting over $1 million a game.
No, that's true. But I wonder how much he's getting a week, because they probably play 5 or 6 games a week.
True, probably more than that. Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, I don't know. And I like baseball a little bit better, so I would probably prefer that one.
They barely beat out my like $200 and some a day contract.
Yeah, no shit. So impressive. The Lions beating Philly, moving to 2-0-1. Are they the real deal, or are they just a flash in the pan?
Go ahead, Zach. I don't even know how to answer that.
It's so hard to say. I think Matt Patricia learned from the best, and he's definitely taken some pointers from old Bill, which when I saw that they hired Matt Patricia for their head coach, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a smart move. He's been under the wing of a great one. I don't know. It's a little too early for me to tell. They're going to have to play a really good team, and they might not have to win, but I think they're going to have to at least compete and keep up with a really good team for me to take them seriously.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that being under the bill. I did agree with that until we got Jeremy Pruitt underneath Nick Saban, who's a legend, and he's basically shit the bed since he's been at Tennessee.
Well, time out.
I still think he might be the guy.
First of all, you can't compare Nick Saban to Bill Belichick.
College, he's the legend college football coach. Bill Belichick's the legend NFL coach.
What happened to the legend of college football when he tried to coach in the NFL? He fucking failed like a bitch.
He's a college coach.
Belichick fired from the Browns.
Yeah,
still in the pros.
Yeah, I guess.
Browns fired everybody for a long, long time.
I don't know. I still think Saban. I look at Saban like Belichick.
I don't know. I look at Saban like he's a bitch.
I don't like the guy either, but he's good.
I don't know what to think about Saban.
The way I see it, like, if you're a fighter and you make it to the professional ranks and you clean house and you win the championships and all that shit, then you're awesome. You're good. If you are a fighter and you turn professional, get your ass beat, and then go back to the amateurs, you're a bitch.
I think it is a totally different thing to coach a professional team versus to coach a college team.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just fucking hate Nick Saban.
Yeah.
I hate him too. I hate Bill Belichick just as bad. So
you just, I don't know. You've got a lot of hate in that heart.
It's a big heart. It's just overrun with hatred. Yeah.
Man, but speaking of Nick Saban, that kind of leads us into a little bit of college football where Tennessee did not show up at all in Florida.
Well, that never happens.
Yeah, never.
Man, listen, JG's a pussy. I said it. He's a big pussy. He's scared to death to throw the damn football down the field. We have 3 of the best receivers in NCAA football. Juwan Jennings,
Stud.
Preston Williams, and Callaway. 3 of the best receivers in NCAA. Because they benched him. They brought in the rookie who didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was just slinging the ball up in the air, and our receivers were catching everything. Right? So you bring JG back in. If you put in somebody, a freshman in front of me, I'm going to go in guns blazing. Right? He looked like the same damn kid. Scared, timid, wouldn't throw the ball down the field. Every time he throws it to Juwan Jennings, I don't care if he's double, tripled. Juwan Jennings makes the catch 90% of the time. He's going to have to start throwing the damn ball. I don't know if he's just trying to protect his stat where he only had 3 interceptions last year, and all that junk. But he's going to have to do something, or we're going to have to evaluate our quarterback position, or we won't win maybe one more ball game a whole year.
If I'm an NFL scout and I'm looking at your stats and I see, oh, wow, you only threw 3 interceptions all season, but your record was fucking 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like, oh, so
you're a chicken shit.
You couldn't score.
Yeah.
Especially whenever you look back at some of those scores from last year and this year to where they're not blowouts. A lot of games last year, especially, they were close. 14-7, stuff like that. That tells me the offense couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
Offense couldn't move the ball. The defense did their job.
Yeah, they did. And, another thing, okay, when we got JG, he was the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the nation in high school, which means he ran and passed. He was the number 1 in the nation. We got him. The motherfucker hadn't ran 10 yards in the whole season. Why is he not running? It's like he immediately gets out of the pocket, he throws the ball away, or he takes a sack.
That's something that I wanted to bring up. I don't really follow a lot of college football. I watch the Vols when they play, and that's about it. But I do watch a lot more NFL, and I've noticed, and the announcers have noticed, and Twitter's noticed, there have been a lot of holding penalties. Do you think because there have been an uptick in the holds, it's going to make offenses and quarterbacks in general have to get rid of the ball a lot quicker so that their guys don't get called for holding, therefore eliminate or almost eliminate the mobile quarterbacks or the scrambling quarterbacks? You're going to have to get those drop back quick pocket passers.
No, I don't think so, because that's not the job of the quarterback. That needs to be handled by the lineman in the lineman's room and by the lineman's coach. That shit is just fundamentals. Half the time they're doing the shit because they're lazy or they're getting beat. But with that being said, if you get rid of the ball quick, or even if you run, if you get out of the pocket, shit changes. You don't have to hold if your quarterback's going to get out of the pocket and take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're calling it on any time a quarterback starts to scramble or bootleg. You bet that there's going to be a flag on the play for holding.
Yeah.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know that they've said throughout the first 3 weeks this season, it's a record for the number of holding specific penalties, offensive and defensive.
Yeah, I saw an article that said the NFL met with the officiating association or whatever it's called about the holding penalties. So,
but I watch, the Patriots. I watch the Saints. I watch teams like that have quarterbacks that get rid of the ball quickly. Goff in LA is another one that gets rid of the ball quickly. I think those guys are somewhere around a 3-second release time. From the time the ball is snapped, they have about 3 seconds, and they've thrown the ball to their target. Those teams statistically have less holding calls than like the Texans or the Panthers or the Bucks that have quarterbacks that tend to drop back and run around and try to give their receivers a lot more time to get open downfield. They catch those holding calls, or whenever they drop back and they try to get like a run play out to the side where they're bootlegging, they get a hold, and it costs them.
Yeah, Chiefs had a lot of holding calls this weekend.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is all about running around, but the Chargers not so much.
That's true.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, by playing lineman, there's a hold on every single play.
Right.
Whether the ref sees it or not, I think they're just kind of focusing on it more this year, because every single play, if you're watching close enough, somebody's holding. Whether it be the defense, offense, somebody's grabbing a jersey, somebody's pulling on something.
Right.
I think it just needs to go back to the fundamentals, man. Like you said, these linemen, especially on offense, say Mahomes is running. Okay, the fat ass that plays left tackle is not as fast as that defensive end. So he's got two options: let his quarterback get hit, or be a lazy ass and grab a hold of him. I mean, that's what it comes down to, and that's why the 3-second pocket passers are more efficient, I guess you'd say.
Well, and it's proven that those guys have a longer type career. You know, look at Brady, Breeze, Rivers, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Those guys weren't notorious scramblers. Hell, go back even further. Dan Marino. He probably had about 6 rushing yards his entire career. He never ran the ball. Favre, he started to be a little more mobile, but he would throw the ball more than he would run. Nowadays, Matt Ryan's another one that's currently in there. Andrew Luck was one, but you know, it is what it is. Big Ben, he doesn't really take off. He's been around for a long time. But look at RG3. Banged up immediately. Mike Vick got hurt a lot towards the end of his career. Look at a lot of Johnny Manziel out of the league. A lot of these guys that come in, and that's their whole thing, is they're a dual threat. They're a dual threat. Now they're no longer there. And I think a lot of this holding has a lot to do with it. That it makes them not as effective, because while you're running around doing your bullshit, it makes our slower left tackle have to hold somebody. It makes our big fat ass center have to grab somebody and tackle him so that he doesn't smash you.
Yeah. And just like Justin said, holding happens almost every play, and longer the play takes for the ball to get out of the quarterback's hands is more time for the referees to be watching what the fuck is going on the line, and it gives them more time to catch somebody holding. So yeah, I totally get that.
Not to change the subject, but you brought up Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Can we talk about how damn good the Colts are playing without Luck?
I no shit was thinking about that the other day when I was thinking about all the teams that were impressive this year, and Indy has to jump off the page.
Man, their defense is killing, and they beat us last week, but I got to watch them closely, and they're a hell of a team, man.
And Jacoby looks like he can lead it. Yeah, he's stepped into Andrew Luck's position, and he's run with it. They said whenever Luck retired that he gave Jacoby Brissett a heads up beforehand, like, hey, I'm going to be retiring soon. But it was only a matter of a couple of days. It wasn't, like, okay, all preseason he knew he was going to be a starter. But I don't know. He was ready.
Crazy.
That's another guy that comes from the Patriots. So he learned.
Marlon Mack too.
Marlon Mack's been a monster this year, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming either.
And he's making, I didn't, because I would have drafted his ass, but he's making the quarterback look 100 times better, because in the past they haven't had to worry about that, about the running back. But now they got to keep people in the box, because Mack is just playing like a damn, like he's getting ready to lose his job or something.
Yeah, he's running the way that Le'Veon Bell should be running.
And Devontae Freeman, yeah.
Yeah. And, you mentioned your fantasy woes, Justin. Zach and I aren't sitting pretty with our fantasy teams either. I'm at 1-2 now. And Zach, you're at 1-2 also? Yeah.
I haven't lost yet. It comes down to tonight for my
that's right.
second win.
You have another Monday night nail biter.
Yeah, I've got Bears running back David Montgomery, and then my opposing team has some other player. So
Who's
It's
up?
I'm
their
ahead.
flex.
2 points.
Yeah,
2
it's their. I think it's a wide receiver or flex. I can't remember what, but yeah, Zach's in another close one.
Yeah.
Oh,
He won the last nail biter on Monday night, so we'll see what happens.
I had a full squad that night too. So
I'm 2-1 currently. Like I said, if dude didn't bust out 90 points between two players, I'd been 3-0. But
yeah,
I'm looking right now to see who this other guy's got because I'm curious. What's your team name?
mine is Pounders.
Okay, I saw Pound Cake and I was like, okay.
That's Garth.
Yeah, but yeah, the Colts have been fantastic.
Al Robinson, wide receiver for the Bears. So he's got a Bears wide receiver, and I have a Bears running back.
I'd rather take well, it's PPR, but I'd still rather have the running back because he's going to touch the ball.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching tonight just to see what happens. I would have watched anyway, but I have a vested interest now.
Bears on Thursday or on primetime football twice already this season. It's like the NFL expected them to do something big, huh?
Yeah, which is kind of strange because I don't think anyone else has.
Well, they went off last year with Khalil Mack coming out being a monster, and then them almost making the playoffs, missing that field goal. Because last year they would have made a run, I think, to the Super Bowl if they had a field goal kicker.
I guess that is true. Yeah, I forget that last year they actually did really well once they picked up Mack.
Yeah, the whole monsters of Midway took off, and that was kind of the surprise team last year, if you will, because they, like Justin said, almost made the playoffs, and for all intents and purposes, should have made the playoffs.
Yep.
Kickers, right?
That was the double doink kick, right, where it hit the uprights twice. Ugh.
I was talking to Jimmy. He's a big Bears fan. Jimmy is. And the first thing I said is I was like, hey, think about the Bears this year. He's like, hey, we got a really good kicker this year. Like, so that's on the mind of every Bears fan. They don't care about Mac or anything. They're just happy they finally got a kicker that can make field goals.
I saw one of Zach and I, our lieutenant's wife's sister, so I guess his sister-in-law, is a field goal kicker for her high school.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that he had shared an article or whatever from a local newspaper back wherever they're from, and it was of his sister-in-law, and she was in full pads and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool as hell. Good for her.
3 years ago, Elizabethton had a girl kicker for 4 years. She got a full ride to play. I think she ended up playing soccer, but still she got a full ride, and she was a kicker. She was a hell of a kicker.
Nice.
And that, you seen that about that college soccer, the women's soccer team, that girl wanting to come to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the players responded, yeah, that's great and all until there's a blocked kick or something else that happens and you end up being on defense. You didn't see that?
No, I haven't, but that's always been the argument for, should they allow them or shouldn't they or whatever. I say go for it. A lot of these soccer style kickers, these soccer player kickers, myself included, if we were to go and play football, especially like me in high school, I was like 130 pounds in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a girl, going. Some girls are bigger than that. A lot of girls are bigger than that and strong as fuck. So if they want to go in there and risk getting hurt, fuck it, let them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like my cousin Jackson, that's a kicker at Elizabethton. He was the quarterback. He's the backup quarterback. Well, he switched just to kicking. He started going to Atlanta kicking stuff, and he's ranked right now as a senior. He's the number 2 kicker in the country.
Damn.
And he right now he hadn't missed one. He's basically, I think he's 12 for 12 or something like that. And hadn't missed any extra points. But his big sport is soccer. So although he's getting recruited as a kicker, he's also getting recruited to be a soccer player. So he's trying to find a school where he can do both, which is almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
but that's what he's wanting to do. He hadn't decided whether he wants to go somewhere like, an SEC school and kick field goals, or does he want to go to like one of these big soccer schools, which I believe is like the ACC's big in soccer, I think.
Yeah.
And
Carolina's pretty big. Duke's pretty big.
yeah.
Virginia's pretty big.
So does he want to do that and focus on soccer and still try to kick field goals? So he hadn't made a decision yet, but I'll keep you guys informed. But he's the same way. He's skinny, lanky. I mean, but he can beat the shit out of the ball.
I'm not an agent or anything, but if I were, I would advise him to stick to the kicking of field goals, because brother, you can always play intramurals in college.
That's true.
Right. I'd have to think there'd be a lot more opportunity for kicking field goals. I mean, it's not like anyone in America gives a shit about soccer until the World Cup comes around.
And there are only so many people that are good enough to kick in the NFL. And if you're ranked number 2 in the country of high school kids, there's a good chance you might be one of them.
Yeah.
He's good. He can kick a 55-yarder all day.
There's not many teams. You're in high school.
Exactly. Yeah. There's not many teams in high school that can have the ball to 40 and then line up for a field goal.
Yeah.
It don't happen.
Stick to field goal kicking, dude. I know soccer's fun. I played soccer in high school. If I had a leg like that, I would have been kicking field goals for a living.
And when I say he's number 2 in the country, this is based off there's like a kicking school in Atlanta every year. It's the Coles Kicking Academy. So I'm sure there's other kids out there that didn't go to this academy thing or couldn't afford to. So I'm sure there's other kids, but based on the kids that went to that academy, which is like the national, let's do the same thing in basketball. They have one huge tournament, and that's how they rank people. It's like there's girls that we play against that are ranked higher than my daughter, which my daughter's not ranked because we've never went to one of them, but she can beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's other kids out there, but just to know that you're listed that good, and that Coles Kicking Academy in Atlanta, there's probably like 300 or 400 kids that go to it. So, and it's an invite only too, so you can't just walk off the street and go to it. But
yeah, that's super legit.
And his brother Braden is a wide receiver. He's the holder. So every year it's been his brother holding and him kicking, which is really cool. So they can practice at home, constantly. So that's cool.
That is cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hell, maybe we can have him on whenever he's big and famous. That'd be great.
Good. Whenever he signs, I'll get him on.
Good publicity for us.
All right.
Maybe he can announce his decision on our podcast.
There you go. Hat on and everything.
That'd be funny. I can get him on for sure. Like I said, once he finally settles down where he wants to go, I'll definitely get him on. And I talked to Adam. Y'all didn't have him on yet, right? Okay.
Nope.
He said he didn't think so, but he gets asked to do, podcasts constantly. But I talked to him, and when he gets back from Russia, because he's in Russia right now in Moscow, he's getting ready to fight this coming up Friday. Whenever he gets back in town, it'll be a few weeks. We'll get him on here, and we'll get that interview. And I apologize for that.
Oh, no worries, man.
I called in from the hospital bed, didn't I?
Justin, he no shit was like, hey, I'll call in to the Skype from my phone and we can do it from the hospital room. I was like, no, man, we'll reschedule it, dude.
We'll be.
He was like, the audio quality might suck, but we'll get through it.
Hilarious.
But we got him on here. And I'm also working on getting Jonathan Pierce, who's fighting in Boston coming up.
The UFC contender guy, right?
Yeah, he's fighting the number 2 ranked fighter in Cowboys Association.
Oh, okay. So
he's fighting a big
Cowboys camp.
Yeah, he's fighting the number 2 guy there. So he's fighting a legit dude. And so he ain't going to be in until after that fight. But once he comes in, I'll get him on too.
That's what's up.
He's set up for 3 fights, so we'll definitely get an after him before. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That'll be great to have him on. And we'll have to try to find his fights and watch his fights so that we can actually know what the fuck we're talking about with him.
Well, it'll be, it's on Fight Night or whatever. It should be on that ESPN3, I guess, or whatever it is.
Okay. Is he on the main card for the upcoming fight night, or is it a undercard prelim?
He'll be probably prelims in his first.
I would
yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah, because he won the Contender Series fight. And it was the first time ever Dana took off 5 of the winners that week, and he was one of them. So he'll be prelims, and I guess if he wins, then he'll move up to the main card. Like I said, he's got 3 more fights that he signed up for.
Yeah. If he wins these 3 fights, he'll probably get another contract offer for, I don't know, 5 fights or
5
whatever.
fights, 7 fights, whatever it is.
Right now, he's getting 10 grand regardless, and I think he gets a bonus if he finishes.
Yeah, they usually give knockout of the night, submission of the night, fight of the night. If you win, you get a little bonus.
Yep.
See, the thing is like he's making 10 grand a fight, but Adams over in Russia fighting for he was with RFA. I'm not sure who he's with now. He's with like Fight One. I don't know. It's another big company, but he's getting like, $30,000 a fight. But he's also not in the UFC. It's weird how it works out.
He's also had a lot more professional fights.
Yeah, but you figure that UFC is where everybody wants to go. You figure they would make the most money.
Well, I can't remember what episode it is, but Wallow talks about that, how a lot of the smaller organizations are treating younger fighters much better than the UFC is. I think the UFC is real top heavy in that they want superstars and they have to build all these stars up, but they also have to pay all those superstars. So that doesn't leave very much money for the smaller guys. And like Bellator and ONE FC and those little smaller organizations, from what I've heard, pay their younger fighters way better than the UFC does.
Yeah, because you got to think he got a flight there and back to Moscow. He gets the whole week worth of hotel stay, and he's staying in like a fancy hotel with training, and yet he still walks out with over 20 grand in his pocket, win or lose. And that's just crazy to me how these companies can afford that. But it's always, he has to fight though, like in Russia, Japan, like it's nothing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah. So, that his friends and family don't have easy access to it. And it does suck, but at the same time, what, 20, 30 grand, that sets him up like a king in Hampton.
Yeah, and he's got his own business now too, so he's doing pretty good.
Hell yeah!
And
so when he's not fighting, he's got his own shit rolling in. So
and they're showing it at 2 restaurants here Friday at 12 because it comes on at noon, where it's all the way over in Russia. So he's got it playing, so everybody can go watch it for free, stuff like that. So
good for him. Good for him. Yeah. Trying to make sure that the people can still see him and anybody that wants to support. Do you know what restaurants?
Jiggy Ray's in Elizabethton. And it's the barbecue place out. I think it's called the Highlander. It's out toward Rome Mountain.
Okay, I know Jiggy Ray's. I've been there before, but I've never heard of the other one. But yeah, if you guys are listening and you're in the area, Friday at noon, you said, go check it out. Support a local boy fighting that's out there doing his thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just to go to that lengths to try to help people see your fights is pretty neat. And Jiggy Ray's, they've got some pretty damn good pizza.
Best around by far.
There's his endorsement. I don't know enough to say that, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah. I guess that's a trade-off with UFC and the other organizations is the UFC will put you on a prelim that's on ESPN or some pay-per-view or some shit. But you don't get paid a whole lot. I don't know. It's a trade-off, I guess.
Yeah, but who was it recently that just came out and said like that she gets paid more from her Instagram than she does UFC fights?
Oh, it's
Paige Van Zandt?
Yeah, Van Zandt, because I follow her on Instagram.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. And we all know that influencers on Instagram get paid a shit ton, so it makes sense. So all of these other athletes that have established a name or a brand, they could also be making money on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Anybody can.
Tony Ferguson has posts coming out all the time that are him training, him showing his sponsors and stuff like that. He's not doing that shit for free, guys. He's not doing it because he wants you to click like on it. He's doing it because his ass gets paid to do it.
Right.
Yeah. And the Paige's husband is a big time fighter too.
Yeah, he's in Bellator.
Yeah, so with him and her, she's basically getting double the followers.
Yeah. Yeah, because his fans will like her too, and
Yeah.
vice versa. He probably gets a lot more fans
Oh yeah.
because she probably gets a lot more fans than he does.
Well, I don't follow him because she don't show her ass off. You know, you know what I mean.
That's what I was saying. She probably has a lot more fans.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she's killing it. Just like Ryan Garcia, man, you know, he's going to have that huge boxing fight, but he's on YouTube and he's got millions of followers on YouTube. That and Instagram where he just shows himself hitting the Cobra bag or whatever, like you said,
Goes
training.
Girl.
Yeah, he's making millions and millions of dollars. Don't even have to step in the ring.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it these days, is to capitalize on your social media, especially as an athlete. You can make a clip like Ryan Garcia did of tearing up a Cobra bag. That shit is fucking was everywhere a couple weeks ago. So
It is. And what's crazy is like Trenton watches boxing, but he don't really know the people yet. But he knows Ryan Garcia because he's always on YouTube. So you got all these people that weren't watching boxing or not interested in boxing, but they're going to tune in to watch Ryan fight, which makes him even more money. So he's just, I mean, and I see every fighter coming up going forward using social media as that same platform.
Yep.
That being said, please go follow the Nest Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
Shameless
plug. Into the woods.
Yeah, throw that in there too.
I think that's a reason why Connor got as popular as he did, is people could find him on the internet and see his highlights and then go follow him on Instagram and see what he's up to. And then when he started making money, he started fucking balling out and showing his Bentley and all that randomness. So it helps. It helps a athlete to build a following if they can do that kind of thing on social media.
With that being said, too, it showed him punching old men. It showed him breaking bus windows. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on social media, you kind of gotta. Everybody's watching you, so you got to have that good boy mentality. You can do crazy shit, but when you got a camera out or somebody's video and something, you got to put that act on. And McGregor didn't figure that out. So
that, or he's just an asshole.
Probably both. Yeah, he's definitely an asshole. Brandon's just shaking his head. He's like, yep, he's an asshole.
Yep, I agree. Red Sox are assholes. They're eliminated from the playoff contention now.
But sucks for Braves.
Sucks for me. Yeah. The Braves they're NL East champs. The Cardinals are closing in on being the NL Central champs after a very successful weekend.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell the people what the Cardinals just did over the weekend?
Yeah, sure. 4-game sweep of the Cubs in Wrigley Field.
Wow.
That hasn't happened since like 1921, somewhere around there. It's a huge deal. So yeah, they clinched a playoff berth, but they still haven't won the division. I think their magic number to win the division is 4, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure, but another thing that helped out the cause over the weekend was the Brewers swept the Pirates. No, the Brewers swept the someone. No, never mind. That doesn't really help you at all. I was thinking that it did, but the Brewers are the team you want to lose. They swept the Pirates. Never mind. That doesn't help you. Sorry, I'm an asshole.
It's news.
All right, McGregor.
Yeah, I'm the McGregor of the episode.
I know that Acuna has paid dividends for his tiny contract. He's worth that Mike Trout contract. He's balling.
He's still getting like $100 million.
But that's still compared to what he could be getting. He's balling, dude. He's balling.
But at the same time, compared to what he would be getting, that's cutting out years of arbitration where he would be making more money and stuff like that and getting into free agency. But you're paying him more now than what you originally could have. Mm-hmm. You could be paying him nickels and dimes.
He could be playing as good as he is right now and making $700,000 a year or whatever.
Yeah, league minimum basically. But they went ahead and extended him, so he's still going to hit free agency like a year or two after he normally would have been able to anyway. So he took this big contract now, and it buys out his arbitration years. That's all that really does.
Yep.
Now he's balling. Albies is balling. Freddie Freeman is back to form. I think he had some kind of like, I don't know how many hits he had in consecutive games, but he's balling.
I think he's hurt.
Is he hurt now?
I think he's hurt right now. Yeah.
And then of course you got Donaldson. Donaldson's hitting the ball good right now. I mean the Braves are just
That's the thing.
They're playing good right now. It's the Braves, and they did good last year. It reminds me of the Braves of the '90s when they had Maddox and everybody, when they were finally, good for multiple years. I feel like they're back in that form.
Right.
Those years, holy cow, they were just built on that amazing pitching staff.
Yeah, they were stacked.
And they didn't really have a lot on the offensive side. They had Terry Pendleton that was an MVP one year, but Ron Gant, he was just 20-20 guy, 20 homers, 20 steals, solid defensive guy. And then you had Mark Lemke, Rafael Belliard.
Lemke is the man, dude.
Like, these aren't names that are synonymous with like the best of all time or even all-stars, Otis Nixon. Come on, are you serious?
Dude, he could steal some bases though.
That's it though. He would hit like 206 with 16 RBIs, but he would steal 43 bags.
Yeah, I remember when he retired, he like had that last steal and he took his helmet off and was waving to everybody because he set some record, and he looked like he was like 95 years old, like his whole face was wrinkled and shit.
Yeah,
and, he was the man. But we got
he was no Ricky Henderson though.
We don't have pitching like we did.
No,
but we've got Kush. I can't even say his name. Keuchel.
Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, Keuchel. Yeah, he's doing okay right now. I mean, I'll give anything to have better pitching, but right now, as far as hitting the ball, we're scoring a lot of runs. I still don't follow it like you guys, but I have been trying to keep up with the Braves as of late.
No, and they're worth keeping up with. And we give our buddy Adam a hard time, the guy that kicked your ass in fantasy, for having the Houston Astros in his backyard, and he doesn't give two shits about it. At least Atlanta's a little bit further away for you, but you're giving it an effort.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Falcons, man. I live in Tennessee, but I hate the Titans.
Yeah.
Carolina's only like 2.5 hours down the road. I can't stand Carolina.
And I think, lucky for you, baseball's about to ramp up because obviously the Braves are in the playoffs, and for my money, I bet on them to go all the way to the NLCS and face off against the Dodgers. So you're in for a good treat here for October baseball.
Yeah, and I think if the season were to end today, it would be the Cardinals playing the Braves in the first round, I think.
Yeah, that's scary for me, for sure.
So they would be playing in the division series. So you and Zach would kind of be butting heads for about a week.
Shit talking.
Yep.
I would say that the Cardinals have the advantage in pitching.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Especially with Flaherty being as hot as he's been. Michaelis is a solid pitcher.
Yeah. He didn't do a very good job against the Cubs this last series, but Dakota Hudson has picked it up too. He's real young. If he's not a rookie, he's his second year in the bigs.
Who's closing for the Cardinals now?
Carlos Martinez.
Okay, I know Hicks had Tommy John or whatever, right?
Yeah, Martinez is not a closer, so he's just kind of like doing it. Last night, Andrew Miller closed, and he did well.
Okay. He did well with Cleveland for many years. He did pretty decent with the Yankees. He sucked for the Red Sox, but
right.
He's one good year for us.
But. Guy, it's strange. I've watched him this whole year, and it seems to be, for whatever reason, in the later innings he does better. I don't know if he just likes it better or what, but when he's like a 6th inning, 7th inning reliever, he sucks.
Yeah. Some guys have that clutch bone and others don't. You know?
Yeah. To be a true closer, you really have to have a special mentality. You know, basically the whole fucking game is on your shoulders, and you have to be able to take that.
Did I see that you guys got Kimbrel?
Who, the Cardinals?
Yeah.
No, the Cubs have Kimbrel.
No, like you got him in the game. He blew a save.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. He blew two. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Ain't that old Braves pitcher?
Yes, he started his career with the Braves, and he pitched for the Red Sox the past couple seasons.
Yeah. I believe game 2, Matt Carpenter hit a homer off of him, and I think that was in the 8th inning. So then once the 9th inning was over and they didn't score, we won. And then most notably, game 3, Yachty hit a homer off of him, and then right after that, Paul DeYoung hit a homer.
Nice. Back-to-back job, huh?
Kimbrel just fucking stared at the ball, and we were just like, go sit down, buddy.
I knew last year that he was starting to lose it. And I think that's why the Red Sox were so, good with just letting him go in free agency and not trying to bring him back on some like nostalgia deal or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I remember talking to you about it. Like anytime that he would come out, it was a walk on the wild side. Some nights he would be brilliant, and other nights he would walk the bases loaded.
Yep.
It's like, you can't be doing that if you're the closer, brah. We bring you in on close games to slam the door. And I kind of thought that the time off, he would be able to get his mechanics right again. He could really focus in, really hone in. And I thought whenever he signed with the Cubs, it would be a big pickup. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Talk about an all-time backfire.
They gave him a lot of money to lose them some games.
To knock them out of the playoffs in the year that he was brought in to win the World Series.
Yeah. After all that time sitting out and holding out for a big contract, finally fucking gets it just to shit the bed.
So because of all of this, because the Cardinals went in there and shoved, their bats up their asses of the Cubs for 4 straight games, because it was a 4-game sweep, right?
Yes, it was.
What that does is it mathematically eliminates the Chicago Cubs from playoff contention. That puts Theo Epstein, their general manager, on the hot seat. Rumors flying around baseball right now are that he will be relieved of duties at season's end.
Oh, wow.
And, he'll be sent elsewhere, or he'll go elsewhere, or whatever. Mind you, this is the guy that was the GM whenever the Cubs broke their Coast of the Goat and all that stuff back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Also the same guy that was the GM of the Boston Red Sox in 2004 when they broke their curse.
Oh, wow.
It also is, worth mentioning that the Red Sox recently fired their general manager, Dave Dombrowski. We talked about that on a previous episode. Mm-hmm. So maybe Theo will come home.
Oh, wow. That'd be quite the full circle story.
It would be. I mean, he's a Massachusetts boy anyway. He's originally from Mass, grew up a Boston fan. I mean, he's set for life.
Yeah.
He was the GM of the team that broke the curse in Boston and broke the curse in Chicago.
Yeah.
He could probably retire and just be good, but he's got baseball in his blood. And I think he goes back to Boston and he's the GM next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yep.
Write it down.
I've also heard that Cubs manager Joe Madden is kind of in the hot seat right now too.
Yeah. The entire leadership of the Cubs is pretty much going to be put to the fire this year.
They have a good team. Javi Baez, Schwarber. I can't think of anybody else at the moment, but they have players.
John Lester, Wilson Contreras. They have tons of talent. Ben Zobrist,
Mhm.
great center fielder. I watched him tear us up at Tampa Bay for years.
Right.
So they have a good team. They just haven't been able to win. And, but they didn't have a bad season. They were in the thick of it up
Oh, yeah.
until you guys kicked their ass.
Yeah, they were in first place in the NL Central for a good chunk of the year. It's up until recently that they've kind of fallen off for whatever reason.
If they split that series with you, they're still only 4 games back or whatever and still have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
But because they got swept, they're done. They're eliminated. Maybe it's a disappointment all around. It was a disappointment for the Red Sox all around. Is what it is.
All right.
Anyway, I'm out of shit to talk about. I've been out of shit to talk about for about 20 minutes, guys. Do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Well, we could give our first impressions on a couple games if you want to.
Sure.
We don't have to dive deep into them, but we can kind of give our first look at a couple games that we both have played recently.
Oh, video games. That's right. I was thinking you were talking week 4 NFL.
Oh, no. I don't know anything that's going on week 4.
I know the Bills and Patriots play week 4, 2 3-0 teams. Bills are surprising at 3-0.
That's insane.
49ers too. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple games we've been playing. Call of Duty has had a beta out recently for the new remake of, or it's a new game. It's a new standalone game, but it's a throwback to the Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I think it's basically just like not even updated. It's just they've decided to go back to the Modern Warfare era.
What we're looking for is a retread. They went back and redid a Modern Warfare type game. It's a new game, but it's the same shit. Okay. Yeah. So now that we've, thoroughly explained that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, they had a beta that was open for a weekend and we got to hop on and play a little bit. It's smooth.
Oh man. I love it.
I heard it was good.
It has the same feel that Modern Warfare 2 has in terms of how you can go around the maps and kind of stealth your way around, but it seems to have a lot more intricacies.
Mm-hmm.
Now I didn't really get into a lot of the intricate parts. I just played a couple of rounds in the matchmaking and got a feel for it and was like, okay, that sounds good to me. When I actually get the game and play through it, that's when I'm going to take my time with all the custom builds and stuff, because the adding a buttstock to your weapon reduces your speed, but it adds stability to your shooting and blah, blah, blah. Like you actually, every little thing impacts your player.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They did a great job. I'm absolutely ecstatic for this new Call of Duty, and I haven't been excited for a Call of Duty in a long time.
Yeah, I think Modern Warfare 2 is the last one that I enjoyed.
This game is like that, but better.
Yeah.
It's 2019 Modern Warfare 2, and they've improved on it. I highly recommend, if you're a Call of Duty fan, to pick it up when it comes out. It's old school, boots on the ground, shooting people. It's no crazy stupid bullshit like they've done in the recent past. They've got a couple new modes. They've got this, I think, 32 versus 32 gigantic thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Battlefield style,
Yeah.
So that's really cool. A lot of people are excited for that. I can't wait to pick it up and dive into it.
It definitely, definitely. Get it on PlayStation 4 so we can all play it together.
Well, both the kids want PS4s. We're getting 2 PS4s for Christmas, so
there you go.
Hell yeah.
I'll have access.
Speaking of playing it on PS4 or whatever, this is the first Call of Duty that's going to have crossplay. So
there you go. I don't have to.
PS4, Xbox, and PC are all going to be able to play together.
No shit. Dang.
That's how Fortnite is, and that's how all the games should be, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, it's stupid that it's still segregated to your specific device.
Yep.
I
It's
bought
dumb.
I bought a new game last Friday.
What'd you get?
I bought NBA 2K20.
Okay, Harvey's been playing that game too, and he said that it's pretty good.
It's fire, dude. That's the one game that I buy every year. It used to
Yeah.
be Madden, but hell, they didn't change Madden in the last few years.
Oh,
But
Madden.
NBA, yeah, it's okay. But my career on NBA, dude, this year you got to build everything. Like you have to pick. It's hard to explain, but you got to like you can't be all the way fast because then you won't shoot worth a shit. Or if you want to shoot good and be fast and your defense sucks, you know what I mean? You got to like build it out, and then it lets you test your build, so you can play with the guy to see if you like it. If you don't like it, you go back to the drawing board until you get what you like, and then you play through the career mode, which is insane. Which I'm still haven't beat it because I've got finals this week, but I'm in career mode right now. Basically, it's kind of like Kaepernick. I take a stand because the coach fires or takes a scholarship for my friend. So I don't play in the final game. So I went from being like a number one pick to late second round pick. So I had to go through the combine. So I had to do bench presses, sprints. Like you have to do all the drills, shooting drills and everything. And then it ranks you. Dude, it's fucking awesome. It's addicting as hell.
That's cool.
It's really good. It's definitely the best one by far that I've played.
Now, my only thing with stuff like that is like you go through the combine, you do all the drills. Are you good at doing the drills to where you nail it and you're like the best player out there? Or
Hell
are
no,
you
I'm terrible at them.
Okay. The MLB, the show games have something like that in my career where you have to kind of go and do some hit drills and stuff like that. You have to show off your fielding. You have to do do this and that. I could go through and absolutely ace it. But I would still get a low ass draft pick because that's the way the story wants it to go. I was wondering if it was the same way in 2K. If you were just badass at the game, and because I guess in MLB you have to have an element of skill and timing to be a hitter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
This one, like, it gives you 2 practice tries before each drill.
Okay.
And I fucked up both practice tries and still fucked up the main one. I mean, I did a little bit better on the main one, but it's like I think the only drill I did good in is on the sprinting drill. I got like second, and then like bench press, I was 21st. I was like 15th in the vertical jump. I think I was dead last on the other jump because I hit the wrong button. Stuff like that. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, but it's an intricate kind of thing.
Yeah, you can definitely ace it if you practiced or if you had the skill, but I just didn't have the skill.
I wonder how much that would impact your overall draft score, though. That's all I was getting at.
Well, it starts you out late second round, and everything you do good, you get coins on it, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it slowly moves you up. So it took me like 3 or 4 days to get moved up just a little.
But I bet you drop fast as fuck, huh?
Yeah, so if you ace those drills, I could see you getting up. Like I could see it jumping you up.
Okay.
Because it'll say, like, if you're a first round pick, you make this much to this much. Second round pick, this much to this much. So you're doing all these practices and drills trying to get your guy up so you'll make more salary whenever you get drafted, basically.
Gotcha. Zach and I also got another new game that it's not just the beta. We got the full-fledged game, Borderlands 3.
I about bought that.
Dude, you should, because it's a load of fun. It's a blast. Just like Borderlands and Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel and all the other ones before it. It is hilarious. It is goofy, and it is fun as hell. I haven't had the opportunity to play as much as I would like, but I've been able to play a pretty good amount. I'm up to about level 14, 15, somewhere in there, and done about a quarter of the story, and they've outdone themselves once again. So if you're a fan of the series and hesitant on checking it out, get it.
Yeah. It's literally more of the same. They've only improved on some things. They really haven't changed the game or anything. So if you're a fan of the series, then it's it's right up your alley. Or if you're a fan of Destiny and you haven't tried Borderlands, it's almost like a Destiny style game.
It's a looter and shooter. Yeah.
I'd say the only thing I don't necessarily like about Borderlands is it's way, way, way funner if you have people to play with. If you have to play by yourself, then it's not. I mean, it's still fun, but it's not as fun, which is kind of a turnoff for some people.
Yeah, with playing with other people, the difficulty increases, and so does the loot that you can find. So it almost encourages you to play with more people. But the same game is fun by yourself, and I had a few hours over the weekend to kill that I spent on the game, and I had a blast doing it. So it's definitely worth picking up. Walmart actually had a special on opening day or launch day or whatever that it was $10 cheaper. I got lucky and got to grab it at that price. Zach, not so much, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing of Walmart to do. I went to our Walmart, but they were sold out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of other people probably just saw the deal and was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I had to give the damn crooks at GameStop my money.
And we all know how much you love them. All right, guys. Well, I think we're officially out of shit to talk about now. Go check out those video games that we were just talking about, because that's what we do with our free time, except for tonight when we're going to go watch football. So for all of us here at The Nest, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And if you're one of our viewers on YouTube, thank you for watching. All 5 of you. Still blows my mind. So, all right, guys. Peace.
Would you believe me if I said I almost forgot the music again?
Not one bit.
Stay connected with Brandon and Zach on Facebook and Instagram at The Nest Podcast. And tune in next week for a brand new episode. And thanks for listening.